Hey, what's up, guys? Bringing you a little bit of a different style of video today. This is a replay of a game I played like an hour ago, probably. Um, so I just kind of wanted to talk over it. I kind of wanted to give you guys a bit of a a life update. You know, this video is going to be a bit different, like I said. So wanted to just kind of take some time to talk with you guys and give you guys or talk about my journey with content creation, kind of where I've been recently and where I believe I'm headed. So I thought if I was trying to focus on actually playing the game and whatnot, I would just, my Nunu brain can't handle too many things at once. The two brain cells in my skull would just collide and probably implode. So I wouldn't say this is necessarily a goodbye video, just more so an update on my life and why I'm not streaming as much as I have been in the past, because I know some people have been asking me about that. And I just want to make sure everybody's updated, because I know some people aren't in my Discord, some people don't follow my Twitter, my Twitch, whatever. Like, it seems there's a discrepancy between social platforms. So enjoy the game. It was a banger game, and honestly, we'll just chill together. So I kind of started streaming back in COVID. Like a lot of people, I spent a lot of time inside during that period of time. As a lot of you guys know, I'm a registered nurse, so I was going back to a sponsorship program during that time, getting my ICU certification, because in Ontario, I don't know if a lot of other places too, but to be able to work in an ICU here, you need to go back to school full-time for a semester to be able to be considered qualified. So I started doing that. And at that time too, I had actually just met my now girlfriend, Sarah. And I remember while we weren't having that much time to do anything during COVID because everything was closed down, I kind of mentioned the fact that I wanted to start streaming. She knew I was pretty into League. She was learning a little bit about League, showing interest, and she was kind of the one who gave me the push to start. So honestly, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be here today. Probably wouldn't have started streaming. So I started streaming with like literally 2 viewers. Some of the OGs probably know that have been around for a long time. I know people come and go, but there are still a few who have been with me since day one. But my roommate and my girlfriend were my 2 viewers for the longest time. Nothing going on in chat, just playing League. And during that time, I was like a mid-diamond player. I think I was maybe like D4 to D2. I was like, I'm like good enough at the game, maybe I can start streaming. So I was streaming consistently, and I wanted to hit Masters, and I eventually hit Masters. And during that time, my channel was growing. I was meeting new people, and my biggest goal at that time was not only doing my ICU certification, but like everyone else who plays this game, is I wanted to hit Challenger. So at the same time of having all these aspirations for the game and content creation and whatnot, I was working full-time. Not only was I full-time in school, once the semester of school was over, I was back to working full-time. School was busier. School was a lot busier than just working full-time. But I had never really had much time to dedicate just to League. Like, it was always like I was working, or I was studying, and then I was trying to play League, or I was trying to hang out with my friends, or start this new relationship with a girl who some reason stuck around with me even though I played a disgusting amount of League when we were first started talking. She's still around. So life was pretty hectic then. But I still was pretty consistent with streaming because it was so new to me. I was so passionate about it. I remember like going to bed and being like, I can't wait to stream again. Like, maybe I'll get a new viewer, like a new follower or something. And I just kept pushing through work at that point, streaming, playing League. And after I'd say like 1 year after that, or maybe 1.5, I think it was a season or a season after that, I hit Challenger. I was stoked. I was over the moon. I even remember the first time I was hitting Masters, how stoked I was. It was a great feeling. Like, all this time of spending thousands of hours or thousands of games playing this game, that I finally hit the goal that I set out for myself, that a massive population of the player base will never achieve. So I was super stoked. But I kind of noticed after that time of hitting my goal that I kind of started to lose drive, and like my overall enjoyment of League and drive to just climb ranks was fading. Because, you know, it's like anything in life really, where you set so long and dedicate so much time to hit a goal, and then you finally hit the goal and you're like, all right, what next? You know, and at that point I didn't really think, like, you know, I had kind of pigeonholed myself in the sense that like I was creating content around Nunu jungle specifically. I liked League, but after hitting Challenger, I didn't like it enough in the sense that it's like, oh, I want to play like 80 carry to Challenger now, or like, you know, a different role to Challenger, because like maybe I could do that, but like that's not going to reignite my passion with the game. My whole passion in the game in the first place is with Nunu. And you know, I mean, us Nunu players, we're kind of dummies, so like I'm sure if I tried to do an 80 carry to Challenger, I'd be 80 carry to like bronze or something. But you know, I started after that point where I hit Challenger, I was still consistently hitting high elo, whether that be like low Challenger, but every split after that I was still hitting Grandmaster at least. But I was focused a lot more on seeing what other people were doing. Like, you know, I would constantly have new builds and new videos. I'm sure for you guys who have been sticking around for a while, we're messing around with like off meta builds, weird roles, Nunu support, Nunu top lane, Nunu mid, and like different builds. Like, you know, some people that were going full tank, some people that were building Cosmic Drive first, weird items, like bringing these niche builds and niche playstyles more to, I wouldn't say a larger audience because I'm not large, but to other Nunu enthusiasts, for them to see how they like it and try out themselves. Or, you know, I would say, hey, I'm trying out 30 games of this weird sus Nunu build in Masters. If it's good, then run it. If it's not good, I'll tell you, and you probably shouldn't run it. You save yourself the LP. So I was just more so having fun with the game. Consistently being high-low, but not like locking in full try-hard, you know, Challenger or bust kind of thing. And you know, during that time, after those 1 or 2 years when I hit Challenger, this is when I kind of cemented myself as an ICU nurse. You know, 2 years is a general rule of thumb for most ICU nurses, that you kind of get like your feet under yourself, you get comfortable, because there's a lot for taking care of very critical ill patients, a lot of I don't know how to describe it, but there's a lot of things you need to know to not kill someone, basically, and to do it effectively and safely and with adequate knowledge. So I had those 2 years under my belt, still streaming League, and then I learned about the world of travel nursing. So I was at the point where I had the experience. Most agencies required you to have a minimum of 2 years, or a certain amount of hours worked. And I had that, so I started applying for agencies because I learned, I was like, wow, they pay a lot better. And this was also during, just after COVID, where basically every healthcare worker was burned out, unhappy, underpaid, overworked, all the above. So I was like, wow, I can make like quadruple my base rate, plus have all my accommodations paid, food paid. Like, I was like, it seemed too good to be true. So that was a pretty big career move for me, in the sense that, you know, it was paying insanely well. Like, nurses in Ontario, it depends, it's all pay scale based, like hours of service or whatever, but you know, I'd say the average pay is anywhere from like $35 to $55 or $60 an hour, which, again, don't get me wrong, that's not bad. That's like, depending how much overtime you work, or if you don't or whatever, you're looking like an easy 85 to 100k a year, which is great for most people. Don't get me wrong, I think that's a great wage. But when you're met with the option to go somewhere that's paying you, you know, $100 to $150 an hour, you get to fly somewhere new, you get your hotel paid for, you get your food paid for, you get your Ubers to and from work paid for. It just seemed like, it's like, why would I not do this? So I took the leap, I started doing that, and you know, at the time myself, I was still very into streaming, and I was thinking, you know, I really want to go and try and stream. So I bought a laptop, I bought like a couple things that I thought I could bring with me to be able to have a setup and be able to stream. So fast forward to that contract, I arrive, I get everything set up, I have a day off, I'm like, yes, like I can stream League. what do you know? I get it all set up. I've got 250 ping, spiking to 500. Can't even play League, let alone stream at the same time. I'm trying to play in like Grandmaster Elo with 250 to 500 ping and on a laptop. So like, I know there's some people that can do it, but like, it was unbearable. I was moonwalking all over the Rift and just losing games from ping alone. And I couldn't get better internet. So at that point, I kind of realized if I'm going to be doing this, I can't really stream because I'll be away from home for anywhere from, 2 to 6 to 8 weeks at a time. So I made my community well aware. I tried to make my community well aware, let them know what was happening. And I'm sure the majority of people, that are watching this video right now, if they had the opportunity, they would have taken the same position. I'm not sure if you guys really know, but content creation really doesn't pay that well. It does for a few outliers or some people who can really, play their cards right in the sense of negotiating sponsorships or contracts with orgs or, streaming is a little bit of effort. Like, it's for sure effort, quality content, but also a little bit of luck in the sense of, you're the right place at the right time. Unless you're averaging, I would say, it depends what you need to live. Everybody's different, right? But I'd say like the minimum would be like 250 to 500 viewers average to maybe like be able to make a living. But also a lot of people stream and like still live with their parents, like don't really have any expenses or anything. I live in Toronto. I pay my own rent. I've got pets. Like I've got a quality of life I like to live up to. It requires a certain income. And League doesn't provide that. I could maybe cover my groceries with League, I like to eat well. But yeah, so I didn't see League as a career route. It just didn't seem smart. I'm pretty financially literate. Oh my god, my cat just rammed in my door. I weighed my options pretty well. And I just wanted to keep League streaming and content creation as a hobby because that's all I ever set out to do. So, being in the travel contracts, having hotel internet, inconsistent schedules, working 12-hour shifts meant no League for weeks at a time because, if you're going somewhere and making that much money, you want to work every day possible because every day you're not working is that much money you're losing out on in a sense. And like, what else am I going to do in the rural butthole places of Saskatchewan, or the places that I went? So, I kind of found myself that when I was coming back after my contracts, each time I came back, I had less motivation to grind ranked again, but I still had a drive to stream because I missed everyone. Like, I missed the community I built. I had missed talking to people, and I found myself, I like just chilling and talking to you guys more than I did really just playing League in a sense, as weird as that sounds, because I built my community on League. The majority of my people, or the majority of you guys, my community, watch me for League and for Nunu. So I wanted to keep that going, and I just kind of realized that, the longer you spend in high elo or the longer you're exposed to it, I'm sure a lot of people who watch League content have a rough understanding of high elo, but like, let's be real. League brings out the worst of people, like the absolute worst in the majority of people. Sure, there's some outliers, but high elo, like a good majority of the people are just depressed addicts who take their IRL problems out in your chat box, basically, if you don't perform well in their game. And like, don't get me wrong, myself included sometimes, like this game would piss me off a lot. And I know you guys were starting to notice that too, because I just really wasn't enjoying it as much. So I was starting to struggle, like enjoying the game in general. Noticed I wasn't having as much fun. And, travel nursing contracts aren't something that's guaranteed. It's a little bit better in Canada in the sense that, if you get a contract, you do your work, you do what you need to do, you'll be fine. States is considerably worse. You can go somewhere, and if someone like doesn't like the way you said something, boom, contract's done, you're gone, you're not getting paid, and you got to find your own way home. So yes, it's very lucrative, but then you also have to weigh the financial benefit in the sense that like you're not getting, there's no pension contribution, there's no benefits, you've got to pay like your own CPP, EI taxes and stuff, like yes, you make considerably more, but there's still also drawbacks in a sense that like it's short-term money, less long-term. A lot of people just like get this influx of income and they're like, oh, spend. I'm not like that. I'm pretty smart. I've always been financially literate. You know, I save a massive amount of my income after tax. So I'm fortunate for that. But it just kind of made me realize that like this isn't gonna be around forever. I don't really think I want to do this forever. Being gone for this long from my friends, family, loved ones, and just not being able to have like a normal lifestyle in the sense. So I was thinking to myself, like, what's next? You know what I mean? What do I want to do for the next 20, 30, 40 years, however long I'm on this this floating rock, you know? So I looked into every nursing career path. Nurse practitioner, nurse educator, nursing informatics. But every single one of those career options had something in common, which was a master's degree. Now this is, I'm sure the States is comparable, but this is mainly in Canada, which didn't really make sense to me financially because a master's is anywhere from, you know, 25 to 50K. And if you're factoring in lost wages for those 2 years that you can't really work that much, you could be missing out on north of like 200 plus grand, while also missing out on like the earning potential and the compounding potential of that money earned in those 2 years and onwards, which are arguably the largest compounding years of your life at my age. You know what I mean? So for a couple, like to spend that much money for a couple bucks an hour for a different position that I don't even know I'll like more, didn't really seem worth it to me. So, you know, did more research, worked, whatever. And then I kind of learned about the medical device industry, medical device sales, medical device industry, whatever you want to call it, which basically it's a combination of medical knowledge or medical skills with teaching and business. But it's a really hard industry to break into because it's kind of one of those places or companies are like, if you know someone, you kind of get in, which I knew nobody because I just worked public sector, healthcare. Sure, I knew doctors. I had connections to some doctors, could reach out to them and whatnot. But it's not easy. Really, really not easy. So, really, I started just getting on the grind then. You know, I made a LinkedIn. I was like pretty anti-corporate for a while. But started networking, reaching out to doctors I worked with in the ICUs, like throughout Canada, in the ones in my home base, and I sent like thousands of applications, probably. Dealt with a lot of rejection, which was new to me because, I mean, if you're a well-trained nurse, like with good experience in an acute hospital, like you can work literally anywhere. I'll submit an application and have a job the same day. It's crazy. So, yeah, a lot of rejections, a lot of interviews, kept pushing though. And after months and months and months of interviews for like the better part of 2024, I got an offer for in the medical device industry world. Mainly an application specialist, didn't require a master's. And I was stoked. I was over the moon. It was 5 months. 5 months? August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 5 months. So I interviewed in August of 2024 for the first interview. I went through 5 rounds of interviews all the way until December, and then finally got an offer in January of 2025. I was over the moon. I was so happy. But the downside and the new challenge that I'm facing now is the catch of the job is 70 to 90% travel, which mainly includes regional travel, but because I'm new and the orientation is roughly 6 months long, that includes national travel as well to get me as much exposure and as much experience as possible while I'm new to the role. So this makes consistent streaming difficult. Sure, I'm in, you know, generally I'm traveling Monday to Friday, home on the weekends, but this makes me value my weekends so much more. Like my time to myself, my time with my girlfriend, my time with my friends. I've got a great friend circle here in Toronto. We spend lots of time together going out and doing things, and I just put such a larger value on that time now that I'm away during the week. So that's generally what I like to do, which leaves less time for me to, you know, sit down, stream for 3 to 5 hours, because 3 hours is kind of like the break-even point you want to stream. to get, you know, a decent base level of viewers, get some good league games in. So I'm not quitting. This isn't a quitting message. This is just letting you guys know where I'm at message. I will be streaming less on Twitch, but YouTube will be my main focus. I will still be aiming to get, you know, 1 to 3, generally 1 to 3 videos a week if I can, because it's the best way to stay active and grow a community while not actively streaming consistently. You know, a lot of people say Twitch is probably like the worst thing to grow. So for all my YouTube friends and all the other people who still watch my content and have asking where I've been, that's where I've been. But I do also want to let you guys know, for whoever stuck this long for the 21 minutes of me yapping, I really appreciate it. And I do want to let you guys know that coaching right now is my main focus for content. I've really been enjoying it. It's a lot more digestible for me to sit down for an hour or 2 hours with a coaching client, someone who wants to get better at Nunu, better at the game, and I can use that to generate YouTube content, which is great. So expect more content here, expect more coaching content, but of course with coaching content that means I need people to coach. So if anyone watching this video up to this point has ever been interested in coaching or ever considered it, please send me a DM, comment on the YouTube video. I'll reach out to you, whatever means necessary for you. We can make something work, you know. For you watching this video, as long as you've been here and getting to this point, we'll work out a special deal together that will make it affordable for you. And honestly, if you're struggling that much, we can make something free, you know, because you guys are supporting me, so I want to support you. And I just love helping people improve, you know. I love talking with people. I think it's a great skill to grow, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of been my my content creation journey / life in 23 minutes. I hope you guys have enjoyed this game. A bit of a shift from the beginning, you know. I was kind of getting cooked, and then I started going crazy. Really started performing. 6, 4, and 11. Ended up getting Medjai's. We're cooking. So we end up closing out the game pretty soon here. But yeah, if you guys like this style of content where I just kind of yap over a replay of mine, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. This wasn't necessarily a regular video. This was me just wanting to get my thoughts out for you guys, so you guys aren't left in the dark. But I hope you guys are all doing well, and again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys to everyone who has been along for my journey and continues to ride along for my journey of content creation. The comments on the videos mean a lot, more than you guys know, so I wish you all the best. We'll wait for the Nexus to explode just for the dopamine. Of course I draw it out, but thank you guys. Come on. Come on. Alright. Peace. That was Nunu and Yap.